Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Slimjimothy channel. I want to say a big thank you for the support recently. I know I've gained about 2 subscribers, so shout out you guys. And I've just been excited to get back to it. So this is going to be a Reddit video. We're going to read a couple stories. We're going to talk about them. Let's get into the first story. Our first story. Am I the asshole if I report my coworker for making TikToks about me? I'll use fake names to avoid any more drama. I work with a younger girl. Let's call her Carla. We work in healthcare. Since she started, there's always been some sort of tension and I never really understood why. For context, I had a knee surgery a little while back and I've had certain restrictions after going back to work. I genuinely wasn't aware that this was causing any sorts of issues because no one's ever mentioned it. They knew that I was out for a couple months, but that was it. I didn't really feel like I needed to clarify this with my coworkers on the reason why I was out for that time. I get home from work and I'm just doom scrolling on TikTok and one of her videos pops up. She's talking about how everyone hates me and how I'm just lazy and how they're all gonna slash the bitch's tires. Me being the bitch. I wouldn't have known it was even about me if the caption didn't say, and her name rhymes with, and essentially she just puts my name in. I'm the only one who works there that has a name that could possibly rhyme with the spelling she put in. I spent the last hour crying and I just don't want to go to work tomorrow. I feel like I'm a genuinely nice person. I don't go out of my way to hurt anyone and I've never had any sort of issue with anyone. My mom was in nursing for 2 decades, so I asked her what she thought, and she told me I'm being way too sensitive and that I should just suck it up and let it go. It's difficult for me because Carla's also put up a video that has the back of my car in it, license plate fully visible. Obviously, I've looked at her profile after the fact. It's just not sitting right with me, and I don't feel like I'm overreacting. I work too hard and I try too hard to be treated like this. I guess if it was to my face, I could respect it more, but it being online for strangers to also join in really bothers me. I feel like I'm in high school all over again. Am I the asshole for reporting her? She'll probably lose her job and that also bothers me. I think unanimously everyone can say she's not the asshole. I think that she kind of knows herself that she was not the asshole in this situation. She just kind of wants people to reaffirm it for her, if we're being honest. If we're being really honest. Because the first comment says, not the asshole. If you're fully honest about what she did and she loses her job, that's just the consequences of her own actions. Simple, open and shut. If this little girl, I'm assuming, that's in high school, is posting these videos calling you the bitch, obviously she's not going to do anything. She's probably one of those girls that kind of has bark and no bite. One of those people, really. I don't think it's a case where you're the asshole. Like, I can't see a case where reporting someone doing something against you is a bad thing. This is coming from a person, me personally, who's lost a job just because, okay, I made a TikTok a while ago myself and I was talking about how I was being bullied by managers and that technically caused the company to be put into a tough spot. So I got fired because I was technically disparaging the company by calling certain managers, you know, shitty. So I'm feeling this story a bit personally. So I think she's not the asshole. I'm not the asshole. Next story. All right, so here's our second story. Am I the asshole for telling a woman at the gym that she's embarrassing herself? I go to the gym a lot. About 6 months ago, I noticed a woman. We'll call her Andrea. I don't know if Andrea started going to the gym 6 months ago or that's just when I noticed her. Full disclosure, I spoke to her first, but I had no way of knowing what the result would be. A lot of the machines at this gym have little entertainment systems attached to them that can access local channels. I got on a treadmill and realized the TV on the treadmill wasn't working. Andrea was walking past and I said, hey, do you know if there's an issue with the cable? This TV isn't working, but I don't know if it's just this one or all of them. She said the same thing happened to her but on a different machine. I thanked her and that was the whole interaction. A week later, she asked me for some electrolyte powder for her water. I said I didn't have any. She was cool with that and asked me how long I'd be coming to the gym and what I did for work. I answered and returned her questions. She said she was new to the area and worked in private security. We had a few more chill conversations after that. 6 weeks ago, she asked me out. For reasons I won't get into here, I wasn't interested, so I declined. She said not to worry about things being awkward at the gym if we don't work out. I said that wasn't the issue, just not looking to date right now. She kept talking to me and at first I kept talking to her, but I started to think something might be wrong and I started avoiding her. 2 weeks ago, she walked up to me while I was on a machine with only one way to properly dismount, which involved stepping into the area where she was standing. She asked if I was avoiding her. I said I was and apologized. I said I don't want to date right now. She said I don't have to avoid her to not date her. I said okay. I kept avoiding her though. Tonight while I was working out, she confronted me again about avoiding her. I had a bad day and just told her to leave me alone. She asked why I'm being such a prick, and I said because I wanted her to leave me alone. I then said she was embarrassing herself and needs to stop. She put her foot on top of the weights and I thought she was going to press down on them, so I let go of the bar very quickly, causing the weights to slam and make a loud noise. Several people looked over. She said, "Now who's embarrassing himself?" and walked away. Did I go too far by saying that? Do I owe her an apology? Am I the asshole? Damn. There's an update here because this one is juicy, so I'm just going to get straight into the update. I went in early this morning for a run and told the front desk about Andrea putting her foot on the weights. They said they would talk to her. Then, after work, I went in again for a regular workout. I was working out on my legs and then she walked up to my machine. The first thing she did was apologize about the weights. I don't know if someone talked to her or if that was of her own initiative. I accepted her apology and apologized for saying she was embarrassing herself. She said she forgave me, but if I wanted to really make up for it, I could buy her a drink and she would buy me one too to make up for the weights. I still said maybe we should buy our own drinks, in brackets, meaning separately and at different times. And she misunderstood me and asked when and where. I told her I meant I didn't want to go out with her. She said this wouldn't be a date but a reset for our friendship. I said I didn't want to be friends. She said I was being a douche and asked what my problem is. I said the weight incident made me uncomfortable and I would rather us just give each other space. So she emasculated him a bit, but also why is she moving like this when the guy just denied you? It's not that deep. Leave him alone. So there's some comments here and some people asked why he doesn't want to be in a relationship. And then he just said, she's not my type. Even if she was, I don't want to get into a relationship right now. My last relationship lasted 3 years and I need to remember how to be single before I hop back into another relationship. That is emotional intelligence. OP is probably the guy. I mess with that a lot. If that was me, I think I'd do the same thing. I know maybe I'd like just rush into it, but then it wouldn't be good for anybody. And that would probably be dead in the water straight away. And then commenter 1 said something might be wrong. So because OP said he thought something might be wrong with her. I don't know how to explain it. I almost felt like she was having a completely different conversation with me than I was having with her. She seemed inappropriately enthusiastic. I can understand that. I have that. I think I have that with like my parents. Like you could be having like a whole different conversation with them when you're trying to like put your foot down, but they're just not taking you seriously. Just for as an example. This is probably when I was more a teenager than anything else, but I can definitely understand what he means there. Look, I say he's not the asshole. Let me know what you guys think. But I think we should get into the next story. This is the third story. So, me, 23-year-old male, with my girlfriend, 22 female, of 4 years. I think she's cheating on me with our roommate. My girlfriend and I have always had a lot of fun together. She is my best friend and the absolute love of my life. I planned to propose this Christmas, already having her father's blessing. Recently, I noticed her acting differently with our roommate, who is also one of my oldest friends. He's known for being a womanizer. He always has different girls leaving in the same clothes they had on the night before. I came home from work and they were quietly whispering in the kitchen. It sounded like a serious discussion, and when the door closed, I swear I heard her say, "Shush, he's home." And when I walked into the room, they shot apart. It could have been paranoia on my part, I guess. But then last night when we were all sat watching some stupid reality show she loves, she was on her phone the entire time. His phone buzzed and I saw her name on his screen. They were texting while we were all in the same room. That can't be good, can it? How do I bring this up? Do I confront her, him, or do I need to sneak for some evidence? Some comments here say, really? Your mind jumped to cheating? Because mine jumped to Christmas surprise. I get where he's coming from because that is a really weird look if they're like together and then they shoot apart. It could have been easily them looking at like a present to get him and talking together and try not to look like they're conspiring. Or I get that with his friend's history and maybe his distrust of his girlfriend. If it's his girlfriend of 4 years and he thinks that straight away, it's kind of crazy that it's something that he doesn't seem like he can talk to her about. But someone says here, another comment said, "It's a Christmas surprise. Surprise, I'm cheating on you." That's a tough one. That's a tough one. The best thing you can do is, if he's your longest friend, then talk to him second, because your girlfriend's the main person that you'd be talking with and living life out with. If that's his plan, he should probably talk to his girlfriend first. If that's his plan, 4 years, they're probably in it for the long game. Talk to her, and then after, talk to him if you don't like what she has to say, and then maybe just make your own opinion from that point on. Because sneaking for evidence 4 years deep is a bit crazy, man. I'm not gonna lie. 23 and she's 22. You gotta talk it out. You're too young to be sifting through text messages and stuff. Or maybe you're young enough to be doing that. It's a bit of a mess. But in my opinion, I think you should talk to her. Let me know what you think. All right, let's go into our next story. These ones are pretty quick fire. All right, so here's our next story. My girlfriend is a Karen towards retail workers and wait staff, and it's really hurting our relationship. I'm 28 male and she's 28 female. My girlfriend and I have been together for 2 years. She's great. Friendly, considerate, funny, smart. I can think of no major issues in our relationship, except for one. Whenever there is even the smallest hiccup while we are shopping, eating out, or on the phone with the customer service rep, my girlfriend snaps in this bizarre transformation and becomes a complete, ruthless, unrelenting Karen. Sometimes it doesn't even need to be a hiccup. She just escalates it out of nowhere, and it happens without fail. This has happened so many times, but I'll provide 2 brief examples. The first, she needed to return an item that was defective, so we went to the customer service desk. She didn't have a receipt, so the money would have to come back on a store gift card. No big deal for me, but for her, it might as well have been a scandalous assault on her rights as a consumer. She insisted in a rude and condescending tone of voice that she would not accept the store credit. It needed to be cash plus $5 for pain and suffering. I stood there speechless as she screamed at the customer service manager. She said she would call corporate and have them all fired, etc. Finally, she was asked to leave and loss prevention came to escort us out. I had to physically pull her out of the store before it became a police issue. Second example, we went out to eat at a restaurant. She likes her burger well done. There was a trace of pink in the middle. No biggie, just send it back, right? Not for her. She rebutted the waitress's offer to get her a new burger and said she's not gonna wait and wanted our whole meal compensated. This led to the manager coming out, who offered to compensate half of the meal. She became incensed and started screaming again. When the manager refused to compensate the whole meal, she flew from her seat, swept a stack of napkins off the table, and declared she was never eating at an establishment like this ever again. I followed her out, still kind of hungry, in just stunned silence. I became even more stunned when she was angrily planning in the car to claim that she found an insect in her food and doxed the manager on social media. I literally do not recognize this vile woman. In literally every other situation in life, even stressful ones, she's perfectly ordinary. But as soon as she expects a service and does not get absolute perfection, she acts like she's been confronted with a cosmic injustice. I am disgusted by the way she talks to service workers. She acts like they're worthless pieces of shit. We've talked about it, of course. I've noticed she immediately turns to me and begins trying to rationalize these escalations. That was ridiculous, right? How can a business treat their customers like that? Do you think I was being too harsh? I've always responded the same way. I don't think I would have reacted like that because I didn't think it was that big a deal. I've never gone further than that because I had a bad feeling about what the outcome would be if I did. I have so much anxiety about taking her out to eat, and I've avoided doing so specifically because of her outrageous behavior. Frankly, this has started to hurt our sex life. I'm not as attracted to her as I once was, specifically because I'm horrified and embarrassed by her public meltdowns. I do not understand how one specific situation can be so triggering for an otherwise normal person. It seems like as soon as we walk into a store or a restaurant, she's decided that the staff are her enemy. Even today, as I'm writing this, she yelled at a poor call center worker because one of our packages was late for delivery. I'm at a loss at how to approach this, but I know I have to address it somehow. We've discussed getting engaged in the future, and this issue is affecting other areas of our relationship. How do I approach this? That is a toughie. I know what people talk about, like love languages and stuff, and one of it is like acts of service, kindness, something like that. And I know one of them is where you talk about someone who treats retail workers or hospitality staff a certain way. If that was me personally, I'm bouncing because that's ridiculous. That's the type of behavior where someone kind of gives you a glimpse of who they are. I don't really believe in the whole thing of your true colors are where you're angry, but then your true colors aren't really when you're just normal and happy. I don't really believe in that saying. But if that's how she acts, regardless of you talking to her or not, then sorry, man. You lost, brother. You was lost. Okay, so the top comment says, if you want to know who someone is, watch how they treat those in service positions. Your girlfriend is great, funny, and friendly to you because she considers you her equal. How she treats those other people, that is the core of who she is. And deep down, you already know that. It's why you haven't addressed it with her, because you know she will turn on you and you will be on the receiving end of her shitty treatment. I don't want to say it, but I think he cooked. I think that guy kind of cooked. Oh, there's an update here. Okay, so pretty much, I'm just going to summarize this because it's a pretty long update. So he basically talked to her and she broke down crying and said she was in a abusive household and her mother was very controlling and very stern, and that's the reason she is the way she is. And she said she'll change and is offering to go to counseling. A comment here says, while I hope counseling helps her, I'm still not convinced that this relationship is worth saving. She made it clear that she's willing to lie and risk someone else's job just because she didn't get her way. So imagine what she's going to do if OP tries to break up with her. Oh my God. And then someone else says, or what if they have kids and she makes up lies against him in a fit of anger? I'm acting like this is actually happening, but these are actually very sound worries. It's just just little things like that actually make a big difference in the grand scheme of life. So man, I'm saying this is Jack in the Titanic. You got to let him go. You know, not that she did that on purpose, but we'll get into one last story to wrap it up. So here is our fourth and final story. It's simply titled Wife's Friend. My wife and I have 2 daughters and have been together for almost 20 years. She took up ballet this past year and really loves it. She had been stuck finding a physical activity she really enjoyed and has danced when she was younger. So this was the perfect fit for her. She became very close with the other adults in her class, especially her instructor, Rachel. She is single with no children, but according to my wife, has dated a lot of younger, effeminate men. When I first met Rachel, my impression was that she was a lesbian. That was also the impression of some of my wife's other female friends as well. My wife insists that she isn't, but right or wrong, that was our general takeaway. Obviously, there isn't anything wrong with that, but she is really latched on to my wife. They see each other at dance class about 4 times a week and hang out a lot afterwards and in between. After class, Rachel has her over to watch TV shows and they constantly text throughout the day. Just last Friday, after spending all day with her decorating her house for Christmas, my wife texted me last minute that she was going to stay longer to watch Christmas movies with her. Rachel has inserted herself in our lives in a way that just isn't normal for me. When I go out of town on business, she comes over to our house and spends the night and even brings her pet ferrets with her. I think that Rachel is emotionally love-bombing my wife. She's naive about her feelings, insisting she's straight, but admits to enjoying the extra attention. I don't think it would ever turn physical, but a lot of things she and I used to do, she's now doing with her. My wife's other friends have expressed concern about the intensity of their friendship as well. I've always supported her having friends, but I'm not sure how to move forward. I have a few close friends I see on occasion, but they're all married with children like we are. I think I just really miss my wife. That sentence at the end is a bit crazy, isn't it? I've always supported her having friends. So like, is there an option of you not supporting that potentially? Let's say hypothetically that this all is true. It's so hard to convince a girl that her girlfriend is not a great person or the person that she thinks that she is. I don't know how he would even go about this. Like, you'd have to talk to her and say that you miss her. Because if that's the whole reason for all of this and it's not jealousy, because it was given a bit of jealous vibes earlier, then just talk to her, man. Let's see what other the comments say. It's easier to hide an affair in a same-sex relationship if you were to go in it, because your guard would be down more naturally. But at the same time, if he doesn't do that stuff with her, and let's say she, the instructor, is doing stuff with his wife, then there's no issue with that, because they're just girl best friends. That's what people do. And this is just a recent thing. Maybe it's like a thing where they clicked and they got together so quickly, friendship wise, that maybe they're just kind of obsessed with each other for a bit, but it's going to eventually mellow out. All right, let's see. Is there any updates? Final update 2 days later. So I picked up our daughters aged 14 and 12 from school yesterday, and on the way home I just point blank asked them what they thought about Rachel. I'd never discussed her with them before because they always acted like they liked her. Well, I was definitely thrown for a loop today. My 12-year-old immediately said, I can't stand her. And my 14-year-old went on a whole rant about how manipulative she is with mommy and how she uses her. She said she's always criticizing what they, our children, eat and watch on television and on and on. They both said they love mommy's other friends because they are like second moms to them, whereas Rachel just wants mommy all to herself. My oldest even said she's very controlling of mommy by always telling her not to do anything physical outside of dance classes so as to not injure herself and therefore be unable to attend her classes. She also said Rachel always makes my wife feel sorry for her about how little money she has and that my wife pays for everything when they do stuff together. I made a point of just listening and trying not to steer the conversation. Basically every concern I have, they have too, and then some. So while after that illuminating conversation, I thought a mini intervention was in order. So when we got home, I just let the girls repeat to my wife what they had just shared with me. I could see the color go out of my wife's face as they told her their feelings. In brackets, apparently she thought they liked her too. To her credit, she just listened to us and didn't attempt to justify or defend her. I reiterated to her that she is definitely trying to pull her away from us and using every emotional trick in the book to manipulate and isolate her. I also told her about this post and the feedback I received from all of you. My wife finally realized what's been happening and even said she had noticed for some time how Rachel will compliment her but also criticize her in the same sentence. Classic carrot and stick control tactic in brackets. She said she felt really stupid for being sucked into the situation, but has had her own suspicions about Rachel's true sexuality and intentions for a while, but dismissed them because she always tells her how much she loves men. So all that said, we're not there yet, but I'm very hopeful moving forward. After the holidays, we're going to start attending therapy together and hopefully get the tools we need to fix what's broken. Thanks again for everyone's insight and suggestions. This post was an excellent catalyst for change. Aw, that actually ended really, really nice at the end. I'm really happy for him. I thought that was going to end with, yo, Rachel took my girl and they're scissoring left and right. I thought it was over. I'm not going to lie. I had no faith in him at all. He sounded like a bit of a loser, but he brought it back in the end. Shout out to the daughters because I think when you hear it from your kids, there's got to be something different in their eyes because kids don't lie. You know what I mean? Like they almost can't. I'm really happy that the wife listened to reason and was genuinely sussing out how she felt, because if there was something off when they were together, then maybe there was something off in general that she wasn't really being honest about because she just liked the attention that she was getting from Rachel. That is great. That's fantastic. I was really invested in that. I haven't read that many comments before, I don't think. That is all we're going to have for today. Hopefully you enjoyed. Please subscribe if you have enjoyed these videos. I want to build a little community and hopefully at some point I can make an email where you guys can submit your submissions as well. I'd love that. That would be insane. I'd love that if we could get to that point. Thank you for watching and I hope you guys have a good new year because it's the 31st, baby. 2026 is going to be the big one. Love you guys and I'll see you in the next one.